My name is Jeremy. I am the 5th generation on this farm operation. I got it just a little bit dirty. Good morning. Get a little bit of snow this morning. Nothing too treacherous. Kids still have school. So today's project is gonna be some manure hauling. Getting a little thick in the barn, time to get it out. But we gotta get a tractor started this morning. So I plugged it in last night before I left the farm. So it'd be nice and warmed up for us. I gotta check the oil. We'll get things rolling here. Alright, here we go. Beautiful. Amazing how good it starts when it's been plugged in overnight. Hey guys, hey! Breakfast is over here. Please stop trying to eat my skid loader. All right, so because it's winter and winter sucks, we need to test things out and make sure nothing's froze down. So the gate works. And the belt works. Now we can put some poo in it. Ideally, you wouldn't come out and spread it on snow, but we really need to get the barn cleaned out. And I am following the necessary precautions. So the state of Michigan puts out these articles called GAMPs, which stand for Generally Accepted Agricultural Management Practices. And within the GAMPs it says if you need to apply on snow, it should be on land that is less than 6% slope. And I did the math this morning. We're actually less than 1% on this farm, so we are more than in the clear. And I need to stay 150 feet from a ditch, which isn't a problem in this field. There is a ditch along the front, but I'm staying well back from that. Actually, I'm staying behind my house lot, which is about 300 feet deep. So I got a lot of a cushion there. So I'm going to try to get this done today. I'm only probably going to have about 10 loads, so it shouldn't take me too long this morning. The tractor that I'm running this morning is a 4430 John Deere. I don't think I can get over far enough to see the numbers on the side, but this is actually one of my favorite tractors on the farm. We bought it when Dad bought it when I was about 11 or 12 years old, probably. Somewhere in that range, maybe a little bit older, maybe 13, 14. I don't remember the exact year, I guess. But I remember when we first bought it, it was early in the season, we weren't farming yet, and he put me in it and just made me drive it up and down the driveway, back and forth multiple times, so I could get used to running it before we got into the season. To give you a little bit of an idea of the age of this tractor, I don't know the exact year that this model was built, but these tractors were built in the late 1970s, probably about 78 or 79, I would guess, would be the manufacturing year on this particular one. So I have 3 broken paddles, at least that I've found so far, on the floor of the manure spreader, which is not, would be quite a coincidence. I don't believe that's the only problem. Chain jumped off the sprocket for some reason, which could cause enough jar to break the paddles. So the chain actually jumped on both sides of the front, up underneath. So I'm wondering if got a rock or a small clump of frozen manure got around in there somehow and caused it to jump to the side, and then with it riding over the sprockets instead of on the sprockets is probably what broke the paddles. So I gotta dig the rest of it out by hand. Luckily there's not too much in there. And then take the chain apart, weld up those paddles, and then get it back on the sprocket. No matter how big of a workshop you build, there will always be something in your way when you need to work on something. Alright, so we got it in the shop now. Big, nasty, stinky, smelly thing. And I've got to clean up these spots in here where I need to weld to. I'm going to try to weld it without taking the chain apart if I can. Because that can be a real pain to get back together sometimes. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to put some metal down to protect the poly floor so I don't melt it. So in the end, I decided I was better off breaking the chain so I could lay the paddles here on the bench and weld them here. Now, the term breaking the chain doesn't mean I literally broke it to get it out. It's what you say when you're taking a chain apart. But by having them here on the bench, I could clean up the ends better, and then I can get them good and straight when I weld them, and I can weld both sides, which will make them stronger. So one of the paddles I realized after I got it welded back together was actually bent a little bit. And so I gotta try to get it straightened back out, because if I leave it bent, it might just walk back off the sprocket. And then we have the same problems all over again. So I'm gonna heat it up with a torch and try to straighten it out. That's a lot better. I think that'll be fine right there. This style of chain, the way that you get it back together is you have to turn at least one, usually a couple links. And then they just kind of lock together like a T in a hole. Essentially what they are, a T in a hole. It's a very old way of making chain, and yet for applications like this, it's still a very effective way of doing it. Alright, so I got the chain all back together. Now I need to get it back over the sprocket. Right here. You see, there you go, there's my sprocket, there's the chain off beside it. So we gotta try to get that chain pulled up and then back over the top of the sprocket there. Okay, so that's back together. Now we gotta do the same thing on the other side of the spreader. Maybe we got a method figured out. Alright, so got the chain back together, got it over the sprocket on both sides. Second side went a lot easier than the first, actually. So now I gotta tighten up this tensioner. There's one on each side. And luckily the manufacturer put this little guide here. Says we need to tighten it down so there's the width of a dime between the springs. So I don't have a dime, so I guess I'm gonna guess. Okay, let's see if this baby works now. Yep, she's running. I'm gonna let it go for a little while here, get any kinks out that might be in the chain, and then I can recheck it for tension.